Welcome back, everybody. We are now going to turn to the Midwest. The first state application before this committee from the Midwest is from the state of Illinois to hold a pre-window state-run primary. And at this time, I'd like to welcome Chair Hernandez and the delegation from Illinois to the podium to begin their presentation.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I want to start by saying I really appreciate having lunch first. I just hope you don't fall asleep. And no, I'm sorry, it wasn't Obama who we were waiting for, but I promise you we have a really good presentation to offer you. Let me start by thanking the Rule and Bylaws Committee for consideration. Thank you, Co-Chair Moore and Roosevelt. And before I begin, I just wanted to let you know who is with me. I will start off with my leadership team, meaning Speaker Chris Welch and President Don Harmon. Could not make it. They're back home. Really, this is our last week in session, so they're trying to pass a budget. And more importantly, today was the day that we were giving the farewell to Senator Durbin for 50 years of service. So the General Assembly was honoring him today, and I'm missing that, but in spirit there. I have with me today Bill Luby, who flew in today, just got here. He's the political director for the Illinois AFL-CIO. Marina Fatz-Hubert is part of my team, the Democratic Party of Illinois senior advisor. I have Randall Webster with me, who is our political director, and Paul Constam, who's a partner with the Magnify strategies that we work with. And so now if we can put our attention to the video that we produced for you.
We've all heard it before. Illinois is too big, too diverse, too representative. In Illinois, you don't campaign to one kind of voter. You build a coalition that actually looks like America. In Illinois, it's almost like they want people to vote. Mail-in ballots, same-day registration, early voting everywhere. The accessibility is endless. And getting around, it's almost too easy. Multiple airports, rail, highways that actually connect the whole state. Even in winter, things keep moving when in other states they come to a screeching halt.
We are stuck in the parking lot.
And yes, Illinois can handle the tough stuff. No explanation needed. And the elections themselves, fast, transparent, reliable. So candidates who compete here have to do something different. They have to show up everywhere. Urban, suburban, rural, which raises a serious question. If a state actually reflects the country and runs smooth, accessible elections, why wouldn't it go first?
I hope you enjoyed that. As you can see, we like to poke at a little fun to ourselves. But it is true, Illinois is a big, diverse Democratic state, and we fight every election to keep it that way. That is exactly why I believe Illinois is the perfect testing ground to help shape the next Democratic nominee for president. As I mentioned before, unfortunately, Illinois General Assembly is approaching our May 31st deadline to pass the state budget, and our leaders remained in Springfield to do the people's business. However, we do have a video. We have video remarks from Illinois House Speaker Chris Welch, along with Illinois Senate President Don Harmon, and our Democratic nominee for the U.S. Senate Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, who just won a competitive statewide primary election. So Illinois offers something the Democratic Party said it wants from an early nominating contest, a state that reflects the country and the coalition that Democrats need to win nationally. While Illinois is not considered a traditional battleground state, it mirrors the nation across race, income, education, geography, and industry. Black voters remain a cornerstone of Democratic strength with consistently high levels of support across recent elections. With more than 1.2 million eligible Latino voters in Illinois, candidates have an early opportunity to engage communities around immigration and economic opportunity. Our labor movement is strong and deeply engaged, creating opportunities for candidates to connect with working people and industries driving America's future. Campaigning in Illinois also requires candidates to show up everywhere and compete across urban, suburban, and rural communities from Chicago to the collar counties to central and southern Illinois. And finally, Illinois is the home state of President Barack Obama. Illinois is where President Obama built a movement that reached across communities, expanded the electorate, and gave millions of people hope in the future of this country. At a time when our party is being called to organize bigger, reach further, and bring more people into the process, Illinois is ready to help lead the way forward. We are ready. We reflect the voters, communities, and coalition that Democrats need to win nationally. And we believe the future of our party can start here and win everywhere. Now, I would like to turn it over to our Democratic nominee for U.S. Senate, Juliana Stratton, Speaker of the Illinois House, Chris Welch, and President of the Senate, Don Harmon.
Hello, everyone, and thanks to the DNC Rules and Bylaws Committee for this opportunity. Those of us from the great state of Illinois are so excited to share more about why we're the perfect place for an early Democratic primary. I'm Juliana Stratton. I'm proud to serve as Illinois' Lieutenant Governor and honored to be the Democratic nominee for United States Senate. 2028 will be a pivotal election for both our party and our country. And now more than ever, voters need to know who we are and what we stand for. That means each candidate must be battle-tested and truly prepared to be the standard bearer for our party. Take it from me, Democratic primaries in Illinois are not easy. They are fiercely fought and hard won. But what I can say for sure is that those experiences create the strongest candidates. You cannot win statewide in Illinois unless you build a broad coalition. Our state is diverse. It reflects all of America. My primary victory wasn't fueled by any one group. Winning across geographies and demographics, we built a team that reflects all of the best parts of our state and the people who make us who we are. Black, Latino, white, Asian, organized labor, urban, rural, suburban, college-educated or not. Illinois Democrats are anything but monolithic. Illinois voters are excited. They are engaged. They are informed. And they want to know that their winning Democratic candidates are proven fighters who will always put working families first. I'm speaking to you today as Illinois' Democratic Senate nominee because I was able to tap into not just what Illinoisans are looking for, but what people across the country are demanding from their elected leaders. And to build the strongest, most united Democratic Party ahead of the 2028 election, we have to remind voters exactly what we are fighting for. A state like Illinois, where we've delivered on our promises, is the perfect backdrop for a competitive primary election. Together, We can remind voters that Democrats are the party of protecting reproductive rights. Democrats are the party of raising wages and defending workers' rights. We are the party who stands up against authoritarianism and corrupt corporate interest. That's what we need to remind voters of when they head to the ballot box in 2028. And Illinois is the place to do it. Because the road to winning the Senate, the House, and the White House will once again run right through the Midwest. And here in Illinois, we demand more than empty promises. We demand progress. We've experienced the cruelty of the Trump administration firsthand. But we've also shown the world how to resist. We've refused to let them break our spirit and refused to turn our back on what makes Illinois truly great. Voters across the country are looking to their Democratic leaders to meet this moment with the urgency that it requires. Here in Illinois, we're proud to look them in the eye and say, this is exactly what we were made for. We're not simply a blue state. We are a state and a Democratic Party that has fought hard to earn every victory that has come our way. If you've cut your teeth in Illinois, you can make it anywhere. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you to the Rules and Bylaws Committee, and thank you for considering Illinois' application. I'm Chris Welch, Speaker of the Illinois House of Representatives, and the first Black speaker in our state's history. We wish we could be with you in person today, but we're leading our respective chambers through the final week's session as we work to pass the state budget and address issues facing working families across Illinois. Even from Springfield, we wanted to be a part of this conversation because the 2028 election carries enormous consequences for Illinois and for our country. Illinois should be a leading contender for an early primary because our state asks candidates to do what Democrats need to do nationally: build coalitions, earn critical support, and stay focused on the work that matters to people. Illinois is also on the forefront to protect the right to vote and remove barriers to participation. We've worked hard to build an election process that is accessible, transparent, and trusted. Senator Harmon?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Don Harmon, President of the Illinois Senate. Illinois Democrats understand what it means to come together around shared values and shared goals. We are united as a party, and our state closely reflects the coalition Democrats need to build nationally. Candidates here campaign across urban, suburban, and rural communities. Our democratic infrastructure is ready to engage voters across different backgrounds, industries, and regions. Illinois gives presidential candidates a chance to prove they can connect with voters across communities and sustain a message over the long fight ahead. Our Democratic electorate is the real test for national candidates because success here depends on building broad support. Earning their support requires solutions when the sitting president actively works to destroy the quality of life for all families. If the committee approves Illinois as an early primary state, we are prepared to work together to pass the statutory language necessary to make it a reality. Illinois has the leadership and the commitment to meet this moment. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're ready to help shape the next generation of Democratic leadership and do our part to win back the White House. Illinois is ready. The fight starts here.
Thank you. Lastly, I would like to have Bill Luby, Political Director from the Illinois AFL-CIO, to deliver some remarks. Bill?
Thank you. And thank you all for having me. I'll be brief. I appreciate it, and thanks to all my brothers and sisters in the labor movement that are in the room as well. So I appreciate that very much. This might sound familiar to you all. I do want to say at the outset, like others, I want to send the regrets from President Dre and Secretary Treasurer Devaney on their the waning days of session. That's where they are. They're holding down the fort there in Springfield. No one work sector dominates the Illinois labor movement's political strength. Unions that represent service, manufacturing, construction, and the public sector workers are evenly divided and spread across the state, from Chicago to the collar counties to downstate Illinois, creating working class anchors in all regions of the state. And these are regions also that have their own, vibrant political and union hierarchies, if you will. The labor councils are strong in a lot of areas of our state. The building trades councils are strong. We have congressional districts that have leadership, and those are all led by different unions. So it is spread across and diverse amongst the union leadership across the state as well. I wanted to throw out some quick numbers. Illinois is the third most union-dense state. There are more than 1.8 million registered voters from union households in Illinois, and more than 1 in 4 voters in the Democratic primary are union household voters. Issues that drive our politics and concrete solutions drive holding our elected officials accountable. Labor in Illinois doesn't just demand recognition of the problem. We look to develop solutions and look for elected officials who can get us there. There may not always be agreement on the course, but a thriving and attainable middle class is always the goal. Labor has worked to elect those who are willing to protect workers and face the future head on, creating laws and policies that turn next generation's good jobs into reality with landmark legislation like the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act, which is creating and maintaining good jobs as the energy economy transitions. Candidates running to win statewide in Illinois must have their A game on working people's issues. Political candidates are better for having to face in the Illinois crucible. It makes them more ready to win, but more importantly, as we see it, it makes them more ready to govern. By moving the Illinois primary earlier in the election cycle, it will ensure that a critical constituency participates in the early vetting of candidates. The deep diversity of the Illinois labor movement, be it regional, demographic, or work-related, can only make candidates stronger and sharpen a process that will lead to the best Democratic candidate advancing to the general election. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. The time has expired for presentation. We're going to open the floor for discussion from members. Would those who have questions or comments please turn up their name tents? Okay, we'll start with Stephanie.
Thank you for your presentation. Stephanie Company-Wheaton from New Jersey. I've asked every state this. What is the average cost of rent for a one-bedroom in your largest city, Chicago?
Actually, Stephanie, I did look it up based on your question. And what I got back, it's anywhere from $2,000 to $2,400.
For the next question, we'll turn to Bishop Daughtry.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your presentation. The Trump administration recently announced that it's going to deploy an election integrity army across the nation, with folks being at polling places to interfere with people's right to vote. So I'd like to know, excuse me, what measures you are taking to address voter protection in this climate.
Thank you for that question. Under the leadership of Lisa Hernandez, we now have a trifecta, a Democratic trifecta in our state that has enabled a unique opportunity to actually build a coordinated effort. And it's something that we've improved upon over the last 3 coordinated cycles, which now we're, the Democratic Party is now sort of like a central hub where we've been able to recruit attorneys that can help us address election issues as we anticipate, just to get ready and protect ourselves. But more importantly, we've been taking time over the last three cycles under the leadership of Chair Hernandez to actually train grasstops leaders. And that's really critical because our partnership with the County Chairs Association, which is 102 counties throughout the state, are supported and engage 10,000 active committee people. And those are folks that we're offering our training to help us get ahead of issues, to mitigate, and to address those things that might come our way. So that's just on the infrastructure piece of it. The other piece of it is that we're tremendously proud of our Attorney General, Kwame Raoul. Kwame Raoul has joined with 23 other Attorney Generals from many states who are represented here and have been actively fighting the administration in court over voting rights. Most recently, they have gone to court to challenge an executive order by the Trump administration to put into question voter eligibility and the national distribution list. And so those are things that are an infringement upon local and state authority to be able to carry out election law. And so we are in great hands with our Attorney General in partnership with other Attorney Generals all over the state to get ahead of the fight that we're getting ready to take on. And it is largely because Chair under Lisa's leadership has been able to bring all these leaders in a way that hasn't been done before because we're getting ready for this moment.
Thank you. Donna?
Can I just add, my other role has significantly really played a role in making some of these decisions. Never before has the party been involved, but we've never been in these types of circumstances that really has, we've been approached. I was approached as a party chair. What are you going to do about it? So I'm very happy to report back that we as a party are doing our part. I'm very proud of it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Donna?
New technology.
Yeah.
They said hit a blue button or a red button. I went to the blue button, now I got to hit the red button. Not fair, Jen. I mean, I got to go red this morning. First of all, thank you all for your wonderful presentation. I enjoy coming to your state, and you're absolutely right. You all know how to handle the snow, so God bless you for that. I want to follow up to what my colleague Leah Daughtry talked about in terms of voter protection. We all know that the Trump administration is making a concerted attempt to either stop the election, and I'll just quote the president because I don't want to misquote the man. When you think of it, we shouldn't even have an election. That was the president of the United States just a few weeks ago. The DOJ, Department of Civil Rights, working with Department of Homeland Security, they have sued several states across the country, I believe 38 plus D.C. The state of Illinois, of course, was sued as of last year, and you all have been fighting very hard. Initially, you turned over your voter registration list, your statewide voter registration list, but now you're still being sued for failure to provide confidential information. Can you tell us the status of that? And also, if there are attempts now in your legislature to pass the SAVE Act or some variation of the SAVE Act that failed to pass the Senate as of today. These are important questions because access to the ballot is very important to us. Making sure that voters eligible citizens have the legal right to vote in all of our states and the district and territories. That's an important consideration as we review all of these plans. And so I just want to know, since the Justice Department is still coming for your voter information, are you prepared to give that up? Are you also looking at attempts to require voters to go to the ballot box with multiple forms of ID, including their birth certificate, U.S. passport, and other identifying information? These are important considerations because voter protection is a very important part of what we do here at the DNC.
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. As the Democratic Party, the State Board of Election is actually the entity that's been involved in that conversation. And the latest that I'd heard was that they were not in a place to give out any voter information. I don't have anything further on that officially, but it's certainly something that we're monitoring. But largely, look, Illinois was an early target of the Trump administration when it deployed cruel ICE tactics throughout the state. There's no doubt about it. It has required a fight from the governor all the way down. And one of the things that we learned as people were being unlawfully detained, including U.S. citizens, is that we've had to really rely on community and our strong community network to develop a rapid response system that is second to none. We were impressed and floored by the way our community has stepped up to the plate when our rights as people, as voters, as citizens, as residents of this country were infringed upon by the Trump administration. And so I can't sit here and guess what might come at us, but what I can say is that we have the strongest community network that will allow us to deploy rapid responses needed. And I think we have strong leadership at every level of government to help us protect our people.
Thank you. Are you aware of any voter purges that are taking place in your state at this time? And again, are you aware of any legislation in the state legislature to pass the SAVE Act? And if you don't have the answer, you can always, because I'm going to ask Delaware and New Hampshire, just because I missed the morning don't mean I'm going to forget it.
Hey, I can answer the question about purges. I regularly monitor using DNC tooling. I regularly check using DNC tooling voter files to make sure that there hasn't been any purges, and we are clear. There's been no substantive purges across all of our counties. Everything is totally within normal expectations, so we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you. President Klebb?
Thank you. Obviously, the primaries make our candidates better, stronger, more prepared for the general election, but they can also make our state parties stronger, better prepared, and build infrastructure if we do them right. So have you all thought about that, and what are the types of things that you think, if you are one of the first states, that would help improve your party infrastructure to win more races?
So what I can share with you in this last primary election, as you may have heard, our nominee for U.S. Senate, Juliana Stratton, we took advantage of that statewide campaign and took advantage by rolling out a coordinated campaign and worked through the coordinated campaign. We're able to reach local races as well, and to our, we're very, again, excited and proud that this second election, we have added further and flipping some of the county races that have occurred downstate in some of them. So what I'm trying to get at is we're taking advantage of when the time comes. This was a U.S. Senate race, a statewide race. It's not going to be any different for a presidential. I mean, we are going to do the same. It's all about expanding that vote, right? And so, but, Randall?
Yeah, I can answer this on two fronts. Operationally, it's much easier to build a coordinated campaign. If you have an early primary, you can get the politics of the primary out of the way and then start building that statewide table. Secondly, I did an analysis of the 2024 election, and it's clear from that and past elections in Illinois that the more competitive a primary we have, the more voter engagement we have in the following general election. And so we are looking to this so that we can have more competitive primaries and more engagement from our base Democrats, and that will help fuel our party going forwards. Yeah.
Thank you. David McDonald?
Probably no surprise to you since you were monitoring the earlier presentations, but assuming that we were to put you, give you a waiver to be up ahead of the window, how flexible are you as to when your primary would be held?
Leadership is on board. You may heard on the video, Speaker Welch and President Harmon are ready and to do the work and legislatively move the date as soon as we get that notice.
Maybe to follow up, there's no collateral constraints such as it needing to be on the same day as the state primary or other thing that might slow the legislature down from moving?
It would all be on the same date, and it would be just any time in that early window.
Keith.
Yes, Keith Umamoto from California. Thank you for your presentation. One of the things I think we look at in terms of winning the November 2028 election is messaging and how do we communicate with voters. Hopefully, Illinois continues to be royal blue, and our challenge is clearly with other battleground states as well in sharing that information. How do you see Illinois in terms of, yes, building your current infrastructure, but also the infrastructure and information of what's effective beyond just the candidates doing it, but the state providing it to the other battleground states in particular?
Over the last several cycles, we've actually had an opportunity to build up a state infrastructure that has not been the case before in Illinois. And so the trifecta that we have now, the partnership we have now with the county chairs, all 102 of them, and they submitted a letter on our behalf as well. And the training that has happened year-round is something that we haven't let up on since the Chair Hernandez has taken over leadership of the party. And so I think, we've definitely put the groundwork, the foundation work there. The other thing is that because, Bill alluded to earlier, the central labor councils that are situated all across the state provide a nearly turnkey opportunity for candidates to come into the state and plug in directly where county parties are already existing and operating. And so, and they've, with the central labor councils and other entities who want to meet candidates and ask tough questions, those are the opportunities that, any candidate would, or any battleground state would also benefit from because, Illinois does have an infrastructure and a platform where a candidate can walk in, fly into O'Hare, or, take a flight down to St. Louis and quickly be on the southern end of Illinois within 2 to 3 hours, and be able to plug into a union hall, drive into in any small town, join meet voters at a diner, meet voters in a rural community. Every part of the state is accessible.
Thank you. All right, Jamie.
Thank you. Jamie Selzer, North Dakota. Thank you for the presentation. I'm impressed with the census demographic data, how it matches up so closely with the United States. Part of my concern, I'm just going to ask it so that way you can kind of put me at ease. I'm struggling to see what is especially unique about Illinois that will help our candidates win. It's diverse. There's diversity other places. There's great union workers there. They exist other places that are more swing states. What makes Illinois unique that it should go early in the window rather than later, compared especially to other states who have similar demographics?
Other than there's structure, infrastructure. I can just right away just tell you it is much different now than it was before to offer the type of resource. In particular, donors. Illinois has, I think, comes 5th in terms of donor with I believe it's $25 million overall. That, you're going to stop in Illinois no matter what, is what I'm trying to say. And that uniqueness, add on what we've added as in terms of infrastructure and the availability of resources now, is a start. That's why we're saying we're ready. We're ready here.
I have one question with regard to the uniqueness of Illinois. Does the Pope vote in Chicago? That's all right.
That too, yes.
All right, I think I don't see any more questions or comments. From the members. So thank you for an excellent presentation.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.